You will have to add value in the entire ecosystem. You prepared to act as an CEO of a company, then only you will be able to play that role. If you want to play that role, you need to have a good networking. You should know your peers. You should know your colleagues within the same industry, in the same market. Then only the information exchange will happen. Then only you learn new things.
Do you have GenZ in your team?
They are quite different. So they are vocal, they are candid, they have their own priorities. There are so much to learn from them. They are honest,
Exactly.
but at the same time, they are quick learner. They are full of energy. So you need to see how you can kind of channelize their energy, how you can get the work done from them. And then it's not that they are not responsible. You challenge them, you give them a work, they will deliver it.
Have you in your 27, 28 years seen in any organization where actually politics mattered more than the performance, where you've seen someone actually doing well more because of playing politics rather than performance?
As you rightly said, politics is something that part and parcel of corporate life. But this is something that I learned it hard way. Where there's a performance, there's no need of politics.
Corporate life is just not about what the textbooks or the leadership books teach you, right? Welcome to Corporate India Unfiltered, where we will have discussions with senior leaders, real stories, real mistakes, what they have done, minus all the filters. We would learn from what they have discussed at coffee tables or outside the office. And I'm sure it will be of great value to you. If you find value in this, please do like, subscribe, and share with someone who is navigating the corporate life just like you. Friends, our guest for today is Ashish Mehta. Ashish has 28 years experience doing various senior IT leadership roles with HDFC, Citigroup, GE, ABN AMRO, AGS, Euronet, and now he's the CDIO at Writer Corp. What we are going to cover today is in terms of his experience, where he will share certain tips for aspiring CIOs, right? That is something which we would request him to share. Secondly, we would also ask him to share certain interview tips in terms of what is it that he would want to see in people who are coming for interview. So those are kind of interview tips. And also managing Gen Z and what are the expectations from Gen Z. These are the three things which we would look forward with Ashish. Welcome, Ashish. Welcome to Corporate India Unfiltered.
Thank you, Robbie.
So, Ashish, before we move ahead, can you explain to me and the viewers what exactly is the role of a CDIO?
Okay. So, the role of CIO is evolved over a period of time. So, when actually I started my career in late 90s, IT was more of a support function. And over a period of time, it evolved as an enabler function. And now you look at it, it's more of a strategic function.
Okay.
So, what CDI is expected to do is, so generally, typically, traditionally, if you see, CIO is expected to manage the technology infrastructure, run the software development shop, take care of cybersecurity, IT project management, IT operation, etc. Where CDIO, over and above this, is expected to drive the digital initiatives within the organization. So, like, take care of innovation, give that digital age to the services and business that companies offering, and in a nutshell, increase the digital revenue of the company, be a growth engine for the organization. So that's the role all about.
Okay, so it's not only driving the digital initiatives of the organization, but also play a role in terms of revenue as far as digital revenue.
Absolutely, it's a techno business kind of a role.
Okay, but it is within the company only, or it can be external also, or it can be a mixture of combination of both.
It's combination of both.
Great. So when you say digital initiatives, it's like driving digital transformations and maybe look at initiatives which can actually take the organization from, say, currently if it's at X level, how it can go to X+1, X+2 types, or what exactly do you do? So is it just a technology upgrade, or there are things beyond that?
See, it's much beyond that. So I'll tell you what, I'll just give you a little back. See, if you see, things around us are changing, forget about corporates. Even the government is going digital. So if you look at, all the government internal portals are digital now. you look at any government services are in the digital form, right? From income tax to state level land record registration, or even suburban train. That the if you kind of traveling by uh, a train today, 70-75% of people are carrying a e-ticket. So when your government is digitized, uh, your company also has to adopt a digital technology. If you are not having a digital strategy, you are lagging behind, irrespective of industry you are operating. That's a prime reason industry need someone to drive the digital initiatives within the organizations, and that's how the CIO's role comes in. So there are if you look at it, there are companies who came up with the CDO role, someone who can drive the digital initiatives within the organization. But ultimately, they depend on the CIOs to execute the strategy. So then they realize that why not, CIO only, we combine the role and let CIO will be given a digital responsibility, so that right from, strategy till execution, the responsibility lies with the single individuals.
So does that necessarily mean that maybe 3-4 years or say 5 years down the line, CDIO will be more common than a CIO?
Absolutely. There is no choice, Romit. Any organization not having CDIO or a CDO, they won't be able to survive.
But when you talk about this digital transformation initiatives or any digital initiatives, I don't know how it is now, but at least a few years back, we used to see a lot of resistance, right, from the so-called legacy people. So is it still the same? Do you as a function, or you or your team as a function, has to face a lot of resistance when you drive this digital transformation initiatives?
See, I'll tell you what. Uh, Earlier, people. I mean, first of all, the definition of digital transformation is something that we to understand. For many people, a technology upgrade, as you rightly said, comes back, is a digital transformation. Transformation is a big word. I'll give one example. Say example, if you're wearing a jeans and t-shirt, और आप उसके ऊपर Google करेंगे, that's not a transformation, right? If you are wearing a dhoti kurta and then you start wearing, jeans and t-shirt and Google, and that's the transformation. आपका अगर weight 130 kg है, you reduce it to 70 kg, that's a transformation. So digital transformation has to be something which is impactful, which is value driven. It may be a small initiative, it may be a big initiative, but the impact has to be high. So, I've seen, in fact, certain cases, I came across one candidate, and I was interviewing him, and, he mentioned that in the series that, he did a digital transformation. So I asked him, what project that you carried out? So he said, implemented ERP. So I said, what was there before ERP? So he said, we had accounting system, we had HRMS system, and we kind of consolidated one ERP system. So I said, that's the technology upgrade, that's IT project, it's not a digital transformation. So, for digital transformation, one need to work with business. They need to have a market understanding. They need to work with the business operation and figure out where is the problem, where the business is facing difficulty, what kind of, challenges they've been facing from the competitors, what peers is doing, and then you have to come up with a strategy and a solution which will give them an edge. That's a digital transformation.
Okay. So, but that also means that one has to continue. Of course, it has always been like that, but now with this kind of revolution happening and this kind of the pace at which changes are happening, one has to be keep continuously updated as far as new technologies are concerned, new innovation is concerned, and I'm sure that involves a lot of time, right? So, what is your advice? How does one manage it? How do you manage?
See, in IT field, not now. In fact, the role of IT is such that, if you are not upgrading your knowledge, your skills, you won't be able to survive. You will not be able to give justice to your role. So that's a prime reason I always maintain, 25% of my KRA has to be new learnings, upgrading myself. And I keep minimum 10% of KRA of my team, with respect to learning the new technology, and it's not you alone. You along with your team are upgrading their knowledge, their skill set, then only the things will work. So what we do is, apart from digital learning, from various, digital schools, we also have an innovation lab. So we try and identify, 8 to 10 projects in a year, uh, maybe in the form of, new initiative, new product evolution, new testing new technologies, designing certain business product. So we try those 8 to 10 initiatives within the technology lab. So and we share the learnings amongst the group, and that gives us, age.
And what would be your advice to CIOs who would want to take a CDIO role, or maybe go through that initiative? Are there certain things, so then certain do, certain don'ts? What is it? How should they go ahead?
Good question. So, see, if one want to be only technologist, the role of CIO, CDIO is not for them. You will have to become a CIO or CDIO, you will have to think like a CEO, or you have to act as a CEO. You not only have to focus only on technology, you have to prepare to focus on finances. You need to understand how the accounting works. You need to see how the business is working. You need to see how the sales function is working. You need to see, how they are doing the marketing, because your role is everywhere. You'll have to add value in the entire ecosystem. So, you prepare to be act as an CEO of a company, then only you will be able to play that role. Second more advice is the networking. You know, uh, if you want to play that role, you need to have a good networking. You should know your peers. You should know, your colleagues within the same industry or in the same market. Then only the information exchange will happen. Then only you learn new things. Then only if you get stuck up somewhere, they will help you out, and the vice versa, and the reciprocation works. So, you need to keep these important things in mind. When you're gearing for CIO, CDI role.
Hmm. I think there are a lot of forums which are kind of
Absolutely. There are a lot of forums, there are a lot of groups that you need to participate in. And then in IT, the good part is there are a lot of event that take place. That's another opportunity that you participate, understand how people are doing, what they are doing, the new things that they are doing, ideas.
one thing which I have always and I have told to a couple of my friends who are also CIOs, the role of CIO is kind of a thankless job, right? Because CIO, CDIO, because you're kind of keeping the lights up, and all year round you're doing a lot of things to ensure that the lights are on, and but no one will come and pat your back that okay, you're doing a great job. But there is this one incident which happens, maybe once a year, when obviously things don't go right, and then you are there right at the blame game types, right? Is that true? Doesn't it happen?
I'll tell you, I mean, my thinking is slightly different. In fact, I had the same feeling earlier when I started my career and when I was into IT. But later on, I learned it. Though it is right, but it's not completely right. See, what happens is, not only CIO, any of the back office function, including HR, or marketing or admin, uh, they are they don't get appreciated every now and then. They are not in limelight. They don't get kind of attention that a business or a sales or a finance get, and that is obviously, they are the one who is kind of generating the revenue. They are the one who's kind of taking care of the money. They are the one who's taking care of your result. So that's a prime reason, the limelight and focus is over there. And see, a little to be practical, why thank? You are being paid for what you're supposed to do. Why are you expecting thank you? And this doesn't mean that there is no importance of your role. If there is no importance of your role or your department, company will not take even a minute to wipe out the department or you. So if you are there, your existence is there, that means there is an importance of you and your department. But don't expect thank you. You have to be mature and be practical.
But that's good for you, right? So you spend like 27, 28 years, and you have that maturity. But what about your teams down below, right? They are just starting. How do you ensure that you keep them motivated at such times? Because that's a challenge. And the way we know attrition in the IT, I'm sure that's a big task in itself.
Yeah, so you have to mold them accordingly. If you see that the tech people, they are expecting some reward. So you need to see how you can you reward them. You reward them in terms of giving them some certification. You reward them in terms of giving them award. You reward them by sponsoring some of the trips for you. So it all depends on how you reward to them. But you have to kind of mold them that don't expect a thank you or appreciation from the business. If it comes, nothing like it. But don't work just because you are expecting a thank you or appreciation from the business or a customer.
But then, how is attrition now? Is it specific to IT, or your domain?
See, attrition is pretty high, and it's going to be, it's still a competitive market. So I have seen there are a lot of layoffs, but still there are gaps in terms of there are certain skill set which are limited in the market. So there's going to be attrition, and it's going to be ongoing challenge for any IT company.
And any strategies you think which you have done well to how what is your experience? What, or is it in the 12-15% range, or it's higher, or how is it?
Yeah, it's around 12 to 15% range.
Take. And how about I don't know, specific to IT, I think moonlighting, is that something which you face, or you have faced, or you want to share some story? Because that is one thing which COVID has taught us. One of the evils of COVID, I don't know if it is evil or good for people who are doing it, evil for people who are impacted. But how is it? Have you faced any incident of?
No, in fact, I've been facing, and Romit, this is a problem that I can't go and talk to anyone. I can't go and talk to management. That some of my people are doing that. You can't prove that also.
Yeah.
It's just that you come to know by the way they are responding, the way kind of you see suddenly the person who used to work for 10-12 hours suddenly has reduced his timing to 8 hours. You see that he's more absenteeism. And you kind of when you speak to them, or you kind of try and talk to the colleague, you realize that he's into something else. So we've been facing that kind of a problem, and it's all because, I mean, I don't want to blame the startup ecosystem, but they also have their challenge in this, with respect to they can't hire highly skilled resource, obviously, for the commercial reason, and they kind of end up tying up with these people. But I keep on guiding whenever I address my team. I ensure that I touch upon this subject, and I tell them, yes, this additional income is always a lucrative, but long run it's not going to help.
So have you faced? You have faced?
Yeah, definitely I have faced. Definitely I have.
So how did it resolve? Did you still keep that person, or?
No, so I'll tell you what I do. I mean, so first is I kind of try and address them. So whenever I'm addressing the team, or whenever I am the skip level meeting, we also have a process of skip level meeting where I meet one of my direct reportees. So whenever I meet them, I ensure that I touch upon this subject. I tell them that probably in a short term, this additional income may look lucrative, but in the long run, it's going to impact you, because ultimately your performance will go down, your quality output will go down. And see, they don't want to be system administrator or a developer for the entire career, right? I mean, they want to be in a managerial position, and they will not be able to reach this position, with this kind of a performance. So, they are spoiling their career, by kind of going behind such additional income. So, I guide them. I keep on talking to them. Even after that, I mean, if this continues, I kind of get rid of these people, because I don't want to spoil the culture.
Yes. Yeah. But I think it's more to do with the kind of it's more to do with, as you said, right? It is about that extra income, right? Today, I think everybody is looking for that extra income and all that.
So they are young. I actually don't blame them. They are young, and at that age, if someone come and tell you, give me a couple of hours and I'll give you X money,
Yeah.
that is lucrative, and they feel that they are being appreciated in some manner. Only thing is, at that point in time, the right guidance is required. You have to kind of, many a times you have to play a big brother's role. You have to play a father's role and guide them, because these are the things that no one will teach them. So you have to play that role and kind of mold them accordingly.
Do you think they are open to suggestions? How about Gen Z? Do you have Gen Z in your team?
Yeah, I do have. See, Gen Z, they are they're different. They're quite different. So they are vocal, they are candid,
They are pro types.
yeah, they are full of energy, and uh, they have their own priorities. So there are good and bad. So I'll give you one example. One of the MT that I had. He was taking care of my critical projects, and during I had one critical project review meeting, and he was absent. He came in the later after the day, and when he came, I asked him. I said, "Why didn't you? You were the main for that review meeting. He wasn't there." So he said, "I was playing game with my friends, and
He said that.
he said that I was playing the game, and I didn't realize suddenly it was 5 o'clock, and I couldn't wake up on the time." So
Wow.
and he was like,
Honest.
honest and no regret. So but again, there are so much to learn from them. They are honest, exactly. But at the same time, they're quick learner. They are full of energy. So you need to see how you can kind of channelize their energy, how you can get the work done from them. And it's not that they are not responsible. You challenge them, you give them a work, they will deliver it. But you need to adjust your working style according to them.
Yeah. I know, since I also take a lot of interviews, generally, most of the times, the question which comes from candidates is, and specific to Gen Z, is how many days work from home?
Yeah.
That is an accepted norm, that, okay, it has to be work from home, it has to be flexible, it has to be hybrid. There is, I don't think, I don't know, what is your, this thing?
No,
Do you have Gen Z who are okay with work from office?
See, the work from home and work from office kind of expectation is not only with the Gen Z. Even if the uh, 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 entry level people, those people who are with a few years experience, also they are demanding that. But ideally, you need to have a KRA driven approach. Uh, if you have a kind of fixed monitoring in place in terms of, what's the output they are giving, how much productive they are, they don't know harm in giving them, few days work from home. And that's a culture that I also inculcate.
I think that is something which COVID taught us quite well.
Yeah.
That irrespective of where you are, work can happen. Only thing is, it has to be monitored and.
Yeah, but I'm giving 100% work from home, because ultimately they need to work with the team. They also need to understand how the company behaves. What's the culture of the organizations. How the business is going. What are the various challenges the other units also facing. So they need to be in touch. For them to be more productive, and to understand the organization's priorities as well. So I kind of, even if you do give them work from home, I give them maximum 2 or 3 days in a week, not more than that.
And I am sure all this is, for overall, not only IT and CIO, in fact, it applies to a lot of people, but it's kind of very stressful, right? How do you manage stress? What are the things which you do, which has helped you?
So I'll tell you, I'll take slightly more time to answer this question, because this is something that is close to my heart. So, since stress is something that it's completely unavoidable in a corporate scenario, and uh, uh, more the ambitious you are, higher the stress level. Uh, so I'll go back, when I started my career, when I used to work with banks. Bank was kind of early movers of digital banking at that point in time, and we had a lot of issues. So during that kind of, I discovered a lot of health issues. I had kind of improper sleep. I kind of developed the anger issues, and to an extent that over a period of time, uh, I had high blood pressure,
Oh,
and it went.
you were quite young then.
Yeah, it went on, and I'll tell you, at the age of around, so I developed high blood pressure during the age of 28, and at around 33, 34, uh, my cardiologist said, either you change a job or be prepared to die early. And that's a kind of eye opener for me. And I started exercising. And once I started exercising, I realized that there are a lot of benefits. So exercise doesn't give you only a health related benefits, but it'll help you doing your job properly, because of so there's a science. When you do exercise, the basically your blood and oxygen reaches your brain. So you are in a better mood. Your cognitive ability goes up. Your thinking ability goes up, and you'll be able to handle stress much effectively.
Yeah,
Another thing is, I started playing cricket as well, and that is another thing that I've learned. When you adopt any sports, you learn to accept the defeat gracefully, and that is something is very essential in corporate life.
sure.
Uh, you know, Failures are part and parcel, but you need to accept it and move ahead. You have to learn from it and move ahead, and that's what the sports teaches you.
Also teamwork.
All the teamwork, absolutely. So one common say, we have in the industry is that, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to walk far, walk together. So, the teamwork is extremely important. And, another advantage is, when you are on the ground, all your frustration comes out, all your high energy, goes out there. So, when you
Doesn't come out in the week.
yes, and it doesn't come out in the meeting and in your office life. So that's the advantage. And I also kind of spend more time with my families and my friends. Friends are also extremely important.
Yeah.
When you talk to them, you suddenly feel relaxed. All your that pressure or burden that is there in your mind, it wipes out. And the next morning when you hit the office, you're fresh.
True. I think that is definitely there. And I'm sure. How about your team? Do you kind of give similar advice? Yeah, go ahead, go ahead and play.
So I kind of over and above the professional thing, I advise them to be, participate in the sports. I tell them, they need to uh, be active. Uh, it can be any form of exercise, but they they need to have an active lifestyle. I also guide them about how to manage the finances. See, the one problem that we regret, we didn't started investing right from initial days. So I guide them. I tell them, start investing now, because if you invest now, it's your future is protected. And I also guide them in terms of where they're supposed to invest. How to calculate the risk appetite. Whether they're supposed to take a loan or not. If they take a loan, how much loan they should take. How kind of they should use it against paying the taxes. And also, all that kind of guidance I keep on giving them, so that we will help them in future. And that's a kind of relationship that you have to build with your colleague and your people.
And also, I think somewhere, if they see that, as far as my superior is concerned, is not only concerned about his or her benefits, but it is talking about my benefit, it also kind of help reduce the attrition, because then people look at you as a true leader and
Correct.
look forward to somebody who really cares for you. And
You're right. In fact, as I said earlier, also you need to play a more of a guide role for them.
so Ashish, how about decision making? What are the do's and don'ts you evaluate before taking any crucial decision, right? Or let me put it differently: is there any decision in your career which you think, uh, if you had taken it the other way around, uh, i- results would have been different? And do you kind of regret, यार ये मैंने गलत कर लिया उस टाइम पे, मुझे ऐसा नहीं सोचना चाहिए था, मुझे ऐसा नहीं? Is there something which has happened with you?
So, with role of IT leadership is all about decision making, and there is never be the right decision or a wrong decision. It is always what is the best decision. You will always have a multiple options or multiple ways in front of you, and you have to decide which is the best way, which is the best option. And according to, based on uh, data, based on your company's expectation, based on the circumstances, you'll have to decide. And you need to be prepared that, that decision might go wrong, and what we'll do if that decision goes wrong. So it's all about that. I'll give you an example, a very small example. Uh, say example, one of your system is down, it's facing a lot, so certain issues, and it's down since last 30 minutes. And you go and speak to your team and said, what is happening, So they said, there's a problem, and we are working on it. There's a problem, and it will take around 30-45 minutes to fix it. Another approach is that you go and invoke the disaster recovery, which will take probably 2 hours time. So now you're in dilemma whether to give additional 30 minutes time, because you are losing business, you are losing revenue, your customers are affected. So you continue to, kind of uh, 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 continue to allow people to work on resolving the problem, or you invoke a DR, which you know that within the 2 hours, it's definitely going to work. So, you have to analyze this, because both the decision is right, or maybe you take certain decision which is hybrid. So all three decisions are right or valid. It's just that at that point in time, you'll have to decide based on your experience that what is going to work, and you have to you have to take the decision accordingly. And mentally, you need to be prepared that it might go wrong, and if that goes wrong, what you're going to do. So that's how it works.
In fact, I was recently reading about a term called office frogging. It was new for me, whereby you start hopping jobs like a frog, right? And every few months you kind of go and find a new job. Uh, and then have you faced this kind of people? Do you interview When you interview, have you faced this kind of people that their CV has in last 2 years, say 7 8 jobs?
Not only that, that's it's quite common in the IT industry. People jump from one organization to another organization within few months time, just because they are getting some few percent hike. So again, that's a issue with their understanding. There's no one to guide them then what is ideal for them. And you need to kind of tell them that this is not fair for any organization. When you join the organization and you leave within 3-4 months time or 6 months time, one is that that's not fair for the organization, and secondly, you're not gaining anything. See, the true experience for anyone is that you spend 2 to 3 years in the organization, understand the culture of the organization, understand the business of the organization, understand how team works, how the different people within the team work. You also try and deliver something within the organization, and that's the richness of the experience. Unless you have that depth and richness in the experience, you're not going to increase your value. This momentary shift will give you a short-term gain. So in the long run, it's going to affect your career. It will not look good in your CV. So probably, as a junior level, people still will accept you if you are moving from one organization to another organization. But once you reach the managerial level position, people will say, hey, this guy is not reliable. And it's like stock market. You identify one company, you invest into that company, and you suddenly get 10%. You sell it off, and you realize that within few years, it gave 3 to 4x.
So don't look at short term.
Yeah, don't look at short term gain. And again, you need to keep on guiding the people.
From a short term perspective, it might look great, but from a long term, if you have to scale up and reach higher in terms of positions and all, I don't think it will work out, right? That's the message.
And one more related topic that I want to touch upon, since we are in the same discussion, I also seen youngster today now, they kind of do a lot of trading. And again, within their circle, and their red circle, there's a myth that the people earn a lot of money by trading into stocks. Okay. And we know that, right? Trading is a highly skilled job. And the 90% of people who they lose money, then that
Only you say they are doing day trading.
talking about the
So will you ask हमको भेज दो.
correct. So, and there are groups, and there are people who kind of encourage them to get into that activity and earn fast money. Yes, there are examples that they earn some money, and that also motivates them, and that also motivates others. So that also, when I talk to them, I tell them that these are again a momentary gain, and on a long run you're going to lose money. And the kind of money that people have lost, they kind of have lost everything. So be cautious, and there's another challenging issues that is around our people.
Sure. So what are strict no for you? Like for example, when you are interviewing someone, like say somebody is coming to you for a interview maybe after a week, what that person should not do as per you, which are the strict no's, right? Because I'm sure that applies to a lot of people, right? Which are just no. If I look at this person and the following things, strict no.
Okay. So there are two things. One is that when I'm interviewing people, for me, first and foremost is their attitude. Irrespective of their skills, their experience, for me the attitude matters. The attitude defines the mindset. How they are going to perform within the organization, how they are going to interact with the other people. So if there's an attitude issue, there's a complete no for me.
Okay.
For a candidate, when they are going for the interview, generally people feel that interviewer doesn't know anything, and they try and act smart. The people who are sitting on the other side of the table, they are well experienced. They have been kind of doing this day in life. They know people's behavior. And when you try and act smart, they know. So try and be yourself.
Be yourself.
You have to talk about something which is not mentioned in the CV. You have to go and express yourself. And this is something that I kind of my advice from my side. Another thing is, there's something that we kind of neglect is their how they present themselves. Mainly, and see, it's not there in interviews mindset that someone should be wearing a nice cloth, nice shoes, proper hairdress, combing and shaving and all. But it's there in their subconscious mind, and that's a prime reason. The appearance
Where your attitude
is, it's also important. So whenever it kind of you're going for an interview, ensure that the clothing is proper, your hair is proper, you are presentable.
Talking to someone recently, and the discussion came about corruption in private sector, right? And you're kind of debating the numbers. And he mentioned that, Romit, private sector mein corruption is as close to 25%. I don't know. What are your views? Do you think 25% is right, high, low?
See, frankly, I don't know what the percentage, but yeah, I agree that this kind of practice is there.
Okay.
There are,
With CIOs, they try to bribe the CIO.
I don't know what other,
Typically we see it procurement, but I don't know. It's
no, within the CIO, because even the CIOs and IT heads are also decision maker.
okay.
They are the influencers. So there are certain vendors who kind of uh, offer such kind of a favors. But I kind of advise IT agencies, stay away. Uh, long term, it's not going to work. The reason is, one is, uh, even they offer something to you and you accept it, you're spoiling your image. Because the vendor community is pretty small, and the one vendor or one sales guy is working in one company, tomorrow he'll work with another company. So the entire industry will come to know that,
How
only you are not ethical.
have you been approached?
Yeah, I've been approached. How did it happen? As complete no. I mean, so it starts with certain favors. And so I'll give you one example also. Uh, uh, Long back, one of my colleague, he was again a vendor manager, and he was pretty strict with the vendors. He was doing his job pretty well. Very smart guy, very disciplined guy. And one of his vendor called him from the Singapore, and it was early days, where mobiles were pretty rare. Even in India, we were not getting all kind of mobile handsets. So he called him. He said, "I'm in Singapore, and I'm getting this Sony piece at a cheaper rate. So if you want, I will bring it for you." So he said, "Okay, you bring it for me, and I'll pay you once you're back." He said, "Okay." Then this guy landed and again called him. He said, "I got your mobile phone. Where do you want me to deliver? At your home or at your office?" So this guy again said, "Okay, I mean, wherever you convenient, you can deliver it to me." And that guy, vendor, he recorded and shared that video with his boss. And his guy couldn't convince that, I'm not wrong. And ultimately, he lost his job. So,
And credibility in the industry.
and the credibility in the industry. So, you need to kind of, whenever vendor kind of get into that discussion, you'll have to say no, absolute no. The reason being, ultimately what happens is, first of all, if you are in this IT to make money, then probably rather you do something else. Because ultimately, see, by taking the favors, you're compromising on the outcome. And ultimately, it's going to impact your performance, your organization's performance, and your business as well. And more important thing is, maybe your organization is not aware that you're doing such kind of activity, but the people below you, they exactly know.
No, yeah.
And you're spoiling them as well. You're absolutely, you're losing the respect, and you're spoiling them as well. And you won't, even if they get into the activity, you won't be able to stop them.
Yes.
Yeah. And one more thing also, I ensure that whenever a vendor get into such discussion, I also blacklist them, because I don't want such kind of people around me. As simple as that.
That's good. So as far as partners, vendors are concerned, I'm sure you must be approached by a lot of sales guys from vendors and partners, right? So this is for all those sales guys. What do you, or what does a CIO look for in a salesperson, who is coming? Do you look at presentations? Do you look at technology knowledge? Do you look at what is it that person knows about the products? What is the ideal vendor sales guy as per you?
Yeah. So when we are kind of evaluating any product or services, definitely the effectiveness of the product and services matters. But from a sales guy perspective, we don't look at his technical skills. We look at how much knowledge he is having about the product and the market and the competitive product. See, I look at a sales guy more as a consultant, and it's a long lasting relationship between the CIOs and the IT vendors, because, the vendors knows the industry. He know what my peers are doing, what my competition is doing. He also knows that how his product is faring against the other product. So I expect a honest opinion, honest feedback, and honest view about the entire thing. Maybe I will go for his product or services, I may not go. But that relationship is long lasting. It's always a give and take relationship. What happens is, whenever when it comes to decision making, I'll try and kind of give business to him, because he's more honest. And as I said, it's give and take relationship. What happens is, in IT, not everything is written in the contract. Not everything is written in the purchase order.
True.
There are things beyond after that as well, and where the relationship matters. So if you have a good relationship, it's easy to work with them, and it's easier to kind of play your role. Sure. So to answer your question, I look sales guy as a more of a consultant than anything else.
Okay. So that means they necessarily should at least know their product well.
Yeah.
Right. That is the prime thing, product or service, whatever they are coming to sell you. True. And secondly, they should also, uh, uh, before coming and talking to you, they should kind of gauge that what is it that your organization is going to get from that product or service, right? And that is where this this thing will happen in terms of where you will put.
Right. And intention should not be selling something, intention has to be meeting CIOs, talking to them, and build that relationship.
It has to be a win-win.
It has to be a
Has to
win.
be a Okay. So we spoke about corruption. Tell me about politics. How do you think? Do you think in? I'm sure we all know office politics is the reality. However, we say no to it, and it exists in all forms. Have you, in your 27, 28 years, seen in any organization where actually politics mattered more than the performance? Where you have seen someone actually doing well more because of playing politics rather than performance. What is your
See, as you rightly said, politics is something that part and parcel of corporate life. But there's something that I learned it hard way. Uh, where there's a performance, there's no need of politics.
super well said?
Yeah, and let other people keep on doing the politics. But if you're performing well, if your team is performing well, I mean, it's not going to sustain.
Yeah.
And see, this is something that you have to inculcate within your peers as well. So when I talk to my counterpart, be it CFO or the business head, all CEOs, I kind of uh, talk to them in their language. I try to see that I'm helping them. I'm solving their problems. And if you have that kind of a relationship, there's no scope of politics.
Sure.
So even if someone decide to still do a politics, it's still okay. As long as you are performing and you are delivering, you have a power and your importance is there. See, people play politics because they want to be in power. They want to be visible. They want to grow. But that you can do by performing as well.
So, Ashish, are there any specific challenges or maybe some challenging scenarios you have seen in your career you want to share with our viewers?
So, see, life of CIO start with challenges, uh, and they ends with the challenges. Uh, but I want to highlight a couple of challenges which are not unique, but I want to highlight because there's a key skills required to tackle that challenges. So I'll tell you the couple of challenges that I want to talk about. One is your business will always expect you to deliver moon at the price of peanuts.
Yeah.
And second is they will expect you to deliver healthy baby in a 1 month's time from 9 mothers.
Like that, yeah.
So basically, it's what I'm saying is these both the things are extremely difficult.
So they are right in their way because they are supposed to do that, right?
They are driving business. They have their own expectations, but you have your own challenges and practical difficulty as well. So here, your negotiation skills is extremely important. You need to negotiate with the business in terms of compromise with moon to something around look like moon, and you need to talk to your vendors, your people, and see whether they can deliver moon not at the rate at the rate of peanuts but the rate of almond, something like that. So the negotiation skill is also extremely important in your role. Thank you, Romit. I feel this is a wonderful initiative. uh, People like us are having a very diverse experience. We do share our experience, our learnings, our mistakes, our achievement with our people. So it will be easier when they are kind of running through their career. But such kind of a platform will give us the opportunity to kind of address to the mass people, mass audience, and let's learn from each other and inculcate the right practice.
So that's the whole objective of this. Thanks, Ashish. Thanks for those lovely insights. If I have to summarize what we just learned for the last few minutes is one of the lesson is, of course, think long term, don't think short term. Negotiate wherever possible, either your internal teams or external teams. That is true. Stay fit, play some sport, and I like that sentence: where there is performance, there is no politics. So, guys, this was Corporate India Unfiltered. Uh, real leaders, real stories, no jargons. Please feel free to comment on what are the topics which you would want us to cover in our upcoming episodes. And if you have liked this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.